Welcome, everyone, to our coverage on Cracked Racquets of Ohio State and the Nebraska Cornhuskers in Columbus, Ohio. This is one where Nebraska is in a really interesting situation down the stretch of the season. They're ranked 45 in the ITA rankings. Of course, you want to get in that 42 to 44 range. Preferably, the closer to 40 you get, the better you feel about getting an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. And there's a couple of big road matches coming up for them in the Big Ten. Head coach Sean Mamie feels like they need to win at least a couple of them for a chance to stay in good position to get an at-large bid. Of course, going to Ohio State, always a very, very difficult task. The Buckeyes have only lost a couple of home matches since the mid-2000s. Always difficult to play in the Ty Tucker Center, and it's going to be interesting to see how Nebraska fares today. Doubles is already underway, so let's get a look at Court 1 right off the bat. For Ohio State, it is J.J. Tracy and Andrew Lechonig. And for Nebraska, it is Leo Linquette, the freshman from Buenos Aires, Argentina, paired up with William Gleason. Gleason is a grad student, a hometown kid from Lincoln, Nebraska. The Nebraska pairing held serve to begin this match. Lechonig and Tracy, 9-1 on the year as a team. Ranked third in the ITA. Lechonig and James Trotter, they've also been quite successful as a pairing, and they're 7 in the computer rankings. Ohio State as a team, 35-12 this year in doubles. We can take a look at Court 2 now. That looks like Nick Weidenhorn and Calvin Mueller for Nebraska. Mueller, a big server, sophomore from Germany. And Nick Weidenhorn, also from Germany. He's from Stuttgart. For Ohio State, Robbie Cash and Justin Boulay. They've played a ton of doubles together this season, and they have really raked it in at the number 2 position. They are 13-2 at second doubles for Ohio State, 15-3 overall when they've had to go to the number 1 slot, which they've done 3 times this year. They've pulled in a 2-1 record. They are 8-2 in their last 10. It's a pairing that complements each other, and they have the early break. They're up 2-love here. It's Cash. Pretty difficult because they're both wearing, of course, red shorts and white tops, but I'll try to do my best during the doubles to discern exactly who is who. Boulay, a lefty. Robbie Cash, a right-hander. They are on the far court. Ohio State is. So it's Robbie Cash serving. Boulay trying to help him out at net like he did on the last point. Nebraska playing 2 back. So I believe the score bug would be incorrect right now about who's serving, but Ohio State up 2-love early on. Let's round off our doubles courts here and go to 3. Third doubles for Nebraska. Shunya Maruyama and Ronnie Hitranada. Hitaranta is the number one singles player for Nebraska, sophomore from Finland. Murayama has been their best singles player in terms of consistency. He's a senior from Japan. For Ohio State, Cannon Kingsley, James Trotter. Kingsley has played mostly with J.J. Tracy at third doubles. Now, Ohio State has used a lot of different combinations. It hasn't been all that consistent other than Robbie Cash and Justin Boulay. And those two have played together, and they haven't really strayed in terms of mixing up too many partnerships with those two players. But other than that, we've seen a lot from Ty Tucker. And certainly this is an example of that, as I'm not seeing, and I could be missing it. I'm not sure these two have played this year together. Nebraska hanging in early. Point for 2-all here at third doubles. And Nebraska does even the score. So 2 games apiece at third doubles. It is Robbie Cash and Justin Boulay who have had the best start for Ohio State, and they've gone in front 3-love on court 2. That is a massive serve. Cannon Kingsley and his big delivery proving to be overwhelming in this service game. See if they close out this game, and then we'll head over to doubles 2. Good reflex there, and they do. So Ohio State, it's a hold for 3-2. And let's now go over to second doubles. Robbie Cash and Justin Boulay. Quick start against Calvin Mueller and Nick Weidenhorn. They're up 3-1. Boulay serving here. Senior from Ontario, Canada. Plan right now for Justin Boulay is to play another year at Ohio State after this. That's barring any exceptional results on the pro circuit. Look at this point. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that was unbelievable. Unfortunately, a little bit of lag at the end there, but Boulay with some wizardry at net. It's Robbie Cash, who's known to be one of the best volleyers, if not the best volleyer on this Ohio State team. He's such an accomplished player in doubles, but that time Boulay doing an excellent job, and it's a holdout love for 4-1. Let's go to doubles 1 now. Again, it's Lushanig and JJ Tracy against Gleason and Leo Linquet, 2 apiece here in the first set. In fact, Nebraska with the hold of serve to go up 3-2. Can we get to court 1, Richard? There we are. Might be catching this at a change of ends. We are. Let's go to 3. Hidoranta and Maruyama on the near side. It's Ronnie Hidoranta serving, sophomore from Finland. Top singles player. You could see some of those singles sensibilities there from Hidoranta, who's very anxious to use his feet to get outside the court on the ad side and create big forehands. He was very content to exchange baseline blows there. A good volley by Maruyama at the end of it. Oh, great move. Good couple of volleys. And this Cornhuskers team at 3 is fired up, 3-all. Now I think we can go to 1 and check in on Tracy Lushanig versus Gleason Linquet. This has been competitive. It's again Cash and Boulay at court 2, up 4-1. Other than that, we are on serve on 1 and 3. There is some Ohio State ties with this Nebraska team. Assistant Peter Kobelt, first year as an assistant, brought on to Sean Mamie's staff. One of the best players in the history of this Buckeyes program. He played for Ty Tucker. He's first in program history in doubles wins, 4th of all time in overall wins, and in 2014, he was a big part of that Buckeyes team that ended up winning the national indoors. Ty Tucker with 2 national indoor titles, one in 2014. That was the first one. Ended up getting another in 2019. Ohio State on a streak of 16 consecutive Big Ten regular season titles. Beautiful point. Gleason and Linquette continuing to play some impressive doubles here for Nebraska against one of the top teams in the country for Ohio State. Good leave there by the Buckeyes. Applying pressure in this service game now. Big free point. Leo Linquette serving. All right, deciding point. Very well played point by Ohio State. Started with a laser of a return. Cash and Boulay on 2 have points for 5-2. We'll get you over there after this point, and this is a big one. Buckeyes will take it on the ad side. Great move. So Nebraska comes away with the hold. It's 4-3 on 1. Quickly over to court 2 now. 40-15. Nope. It's a 5-2 lead for Cash and Boulay. Buckeyes team on the near side. Up off their chairs early after the change of ends. The score on court 3 is 4-all. Nebraska doing an excellent job of going toe-to-toe with this Ohio State team on both 1 and 3. But can Cash and Boulay put the Buckeyes one match away from the doubles point here on 2? They're a game away from doing just that. Again, 13-2 on the season at second doubles. They have been the staple for Ty Tucker. Good volleying there. Boulay was whipping, dipping forehands at Nebraska, but they were all handled quite well. Eventually, they got the miss. It's 40 love. The serve indicator is off, so it's Nebraska serving to Ohio State right now, 40 love. Easy hold. So now, I believe it'll be on the racket of Robbie Cash to try to serve out this doubles match. Lashonig and Tracy looks like a hold for 4-all on one. Kingsley and Trotter are trying to go up 5-4 on three. They're also serving up 40 love. It's the serve of Justin Boulay. Set up Cash for an easy finish and an ideal start to this game for Ohio State. Double fault. Looks like Boulay is trying to come in behind his serve. He's got a lot of confidence in his volleys. He's been incorporating that more and more in his singles game as of late. Oh, look at that. It was a brilliant first volley from Boulay. After a quality return, he handled it so well. And then a bit of a joust at net in which Robbie Cash had the last laugh. It was a crucial point there. Match points here for Ohio State. Flirted with the double fault, but it found the back of the service line, and Boulay serves it out. Ohio State is now one away from the doubles point. Let's go to doubles 3. Third doubles, it's 5-4 on serve. And that missed volley from Maruyama makes it 30 all. So now Ohio State is 2 points away. The serve of Ronnie Hidoranta. Oh, what a point. Ohio State will have match point here on 3. Well, what happened there, Hidoranta made a great recovery, beautiful defensive lob to reset the point, but he just never recovered his court position quite well enough, and it led to the easy poach finish for Ohio State. Match point. Found the alley. One saved for Nebraska. All right, so 6-4, James Trotter and Cannon Kingsley. They win that final game and take it. Apologies for the confusion there in the end. Not quite sure how that ultimately went down just from the deciding point there in the end, but the doubles point does go to Ohio State. It was very competitive from Nebraska on court 1 and court 3. But for Ohio State, it's Robert Cash and Justin Boulay with a 6-3 set, and Cannon Kingsley with James Trotter for a 6-4 set. Cash and Boulay improved to 14-2 on the year at second doubles. And Kingsley and Trotter, not a team that has gotten that much run from Ty Tucker. They end up doing very well at the end of that set to take charge and win it. And J.J. Tracy and Andrew Leshonig on court 1 will go unfinished. Again, this is Nebraska, 45 in the ITA rankings, on the cusp of the NCAA tournament, 9-6 on the year, 1-1 in the Big Ten, going up against Ohio State. They are 19-2. They have had a terrific season. 2-0 in the Big Ten. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have singles here from Columbus. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're enjoying our coverage across Cracked Racquets platforms of Big Ten college tennis. Ohio State with the doubles point over Nebraska. And the Cornhuskers put in a good effort in the doubles, and they've been good in doubles all year. A overall record of 28 and 18 in dual play. But the Buckeyes, who, of course, are even better, were able to fend them off. It's competitive. Singles time. Let's get out of one, just since this thing is at the moment blocking our view of the match. But that is Canton Kingsley and Ronnie Hidoranta. Canton Kingsley playing in the one singles spot. Justin Boulay getting singles off. Of course, it all looked good in the doubles. Boulay was able to get a win with Robbie Cash, so no cause for alarm if you're a Buckeyes fan, I don't believe, when it comes to Boulay. Just a bit of a reprieve. Canton Kingsley stepping up to the number one spot. It's something he has done a couple of times this year, and he has a 2-1 record at first singles, but he's played most of his tennis at second singles, and he's 6-1. We'll get back to Kingsley soon. This is court 2. James Trotter taking on Leo Linquette. And I think what we may have just saw is sort of a blueprint of what Trotter may try to do. He's got the break of serve in the opening game, going to Linquette's one-handed backhand and approaching the net. Linquette is from Argentina, freshman from Buenos Aires. He's been playing number 2, and head coach Sean Mamie says he's just still getting used to indoor tennis. Now, they feel really good about him, both in the present and the future, but he has struggled a bit when it comes to his record. He's 2-5 at second singles, and we could see with his court position and how long his strokes are, he might need to make some adjustments in order to have the same kind of success on these speedy indoor hard courts. Good job there by Linquette, just protecting his backhand. It's good to see Trotter being rewarded with a shot at second singles, because no one has really been better for Ohio State than James Trotter. He is 17-0 on the season. Good rally tolerance by Linquette. It's going to be a beautiful thing to see these two one-handers go up against each other here on court 2. So Trotter has played most of his tennis this year in the 4 spot, but he's played some at 5, some at 3. This is only his second match of the year at number 2 singles. But as I said, he's really earned this opportunity. Another approach to the Linquette backhand, but the Argentine has the answer, and it'll be 3 break points for Linquette. So we'll stay right here. Actually, 4 break points for Linquette. Got to get into deciding point mode. Well, it looked like Trotter. Oh, okay. I thought he had missed the return. It looks like he made that big forehand return off of a second serve from Linquette that sat up a little bit. But there is the break of serve for Linkett. So a pair of service breaks to begin this match on 2. It's going to be a fun one to follow. By the way, Cannon Kingsley has gone up a break on court 1, so 2-love to Ohio State there. Let's go to 3. It's J.J. Tracy for Ohio State, the junior from Powell, Ohio. 15 in the ITA rankings. 10-2 record on the year. Singles All-American last year. Big Ten Freshman of the year before. Top 10 recruit out of Smith Stearns Academy in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And he is serving on the far baseline. Oh, that's an interesting play there by Maruyama, the crush and rush return. A little heavy-handed on the volley. Well, it looks like Nebraska and Ohio State, they may have been listening to our conversation that I was having with our producer, Richard Ma, in between the doubles and the singles. We were talking about how it shouldn't be too hard for Nebraska and Ohio State to not wear the same thing on the court. In college tennis, all of these teams have multiple options when it comes to their kits. But in the doubles, they were both wearing red shorts, white shirts. And sometimes you see that in professional tennis, and sometimes people complain about that in professional tennis. But it's one thing when the brands are sending these players kits and, they can't really worry about sending everybody different kits. That would be impossible. But in college tennis, we definitely know that we would be able to solve that problem with multiple kits. The ace results in the hold of serve for Tracy and Ohio State. So 1-1 here on court 3. Let's hop on over to 4 now. Hopefully we're not getting it in a change of ends. It's 1-1 here. And now it's 2-1. So we do get it at a change of ends. Alex Bernard for Ohio State, the freshman, slotting into the 4 spot in the lineup against Lars Johan. We'll come back to 4 at some point soon. Let's head on over to 5. It's an early lead on 5 for Nebraska. How about William Gleason? Up a break 2-love against Robert Cash. Well, Robert Cash has been extraordinarily tough out at the bottom of the singles lineup for the Buckeyes. He's got a 14-1 record, does the senior. This is probably his best year on the singles court. Now, he's had tons of success in doubles the last couple of years for Ohio State. We know his prowess in the doubles. But in singles, this has been as solid as he's ever been. William Gleason, you can see his positive body language early on in this one for Nebraska. Grad student from Lincoln, and he's been an unbelievably improved this year. You look at his record last year in singles, he was 4-12. Well, this year, he's 6-3. And in this number 4 spot, in fact, he's playing 5 today, but in the number 4 spot, he's 4-1. Oh, what a forehand. It might have been a little wide, actually. It was, so 30-all. Gleason is a real veteran. He won't be intimidated by the venue. And coming into Ty Tucker Tennis Center, it can be intimidating for the younger players, but Gleason has been around the block. This is his 109th career match as a Cornhusker. Great return there by Cash. It's so tough when Robert Cash gets into control of a point. The way he follows it forward, very difficult to turn points around from defensive positions against Cash. Saw him there with a very comfortable overhead, and it was a high lob. Tough one to take out of the air, but Cash timed it brilliantly. And the break goes back to Robbie Cash. So it's back on serve on court 5. Before we go to 6, because I believe they're going to be at a change of ends, let's go to 1. We didn't really get to talk about this one-on-one with Cannon Kingsley. Again, if you're just joining us, Justin Boulay has the singles off. He did get a victory in the doubles alongside Robbie Cash. What a quick start it's been for Cannon Kingsley. He's got the big serve on the near baseline that we got to see in the doubles. Man. Cannon Kingsley, the senior from Northport, New York. Top-ranked player in the ITA rankings for Ohio State at number 12. And look at that. First strike tennis from Cannon Kingsley. Big serve, big forehand, follow it in. It's what we'll see from him here. He is so tough. 8-2 record on the year. 6-1 at number 2. 2-1 at number 1. The reigning Big Ten Athlete of the Year. That unapologetically aggressive style from Kingsley. I mean, he's just going to go for his shots. You saw him pull the trigger on that forehand down the line. Sometimes it can lead to errors, but over the course of a match, it's so difficult to deal with. He gives you almost no rhythm. And he does a lot of that. Cheap point on the serve, and Kingsley goes up 5-love in the first set. It's the top of the singles lineup for the Buckeyes that has pulled away to the largest extent early on. Let's go to singles 2. As they change ends at 5-love on court 1. We're coming just out of a changeover on court 2. undefeated James Trotter on the far baseline for Ohio State, who's climbed Ty Tucker's lineup with his exceptional play this year. That was very close on the volley. Great wheels from Linquette. And he was rewarded for chasing down that last ball, as Trotter did miss the backhand volley just wide. It's been a pleasure to watch some of the points that these guys have played on court two. Another great one. Trotter with the lob. And one thing we've seen indoors is how comfortable this Ohio State team is on the overhead. Feels like up and down the lineup, you give any of them a difficult overhead and they're able to make it with confidence. It's an exceptional level here, and that's been the norm for Leo Linquette as he continues to get comfortable with college tennis. He did not play in the fall, so he's a late arrival on campus. He's the lone freshman in this Nebraska lineup, and he's got a really bright future. It's not easy to be in Linquette's position and to play second singles right away at this level. He's battling hard here against Trotter. Deciding point coming up. Trotter wants it on the ad side. Linquette's last two matches in the Big Ten, both of them have been quality. He had match points against Michigan State. Tough service hold there. You could hear the positive emotion for Linquette. Trotter still up 4-2 in this opening set, but Linquette is showing a lot of promise. He had match points against Michigan State's Max Sheldon, and then he was even competitive against Michigan's Andrew Fenty. That was a 6-3, 6-3 match, and Sean Mamie was very happy with the level that Linquette brought to the court in that match. This is another really tough test for him, and he could be on the losing end of it, but still, there might be a lot of positives to take out of it. On court one, Ronnie Hidoranta is on the board, and now Cannon Kingsley will try to serve out the first set. So let's go to court one. Ooh. How about Ronnie Hidoranta off the screen to try to return the bombs off the racket of Cannon Kingsley? Hidoranta has been called the emotional leader of this team by Sean Mamie. He's played number one singles every single match. Sophomore from Finland. Gonna get this ball off the court. As a freshman, he went 22-11 last year across the fall and the spring. Oh, that's excellent. So Kingsley, not only does he have the big power on the serve, he has the variety. He went to the kicker there. Kicker out wide, get it up high on Hidoranta's backhand. And then he was able to attack that +1 forehand and follow it in. Hidoranta had the second most wins by a freshman in school history last year. He went 8-3 at the number 3 spot. And that's what I'm talking about. So Kingsley, after hitting the kick wide, he flattens it out down the tee on the next point. It's very tough. The power is hard enough. Even if he went to the bomb every single time, that would be a great first serve. But the fact that he has a few options in his bag makes it even more tough to deal with. Set point here for Kingsley. It's good stuff from Hidoranta. Backhand slice got low on the big man Kingsley, made him hit that forehand from a low contact point. And heading into the second set, you feel like Hidoranta has probably drawn at least a bit of confidence from how this opening set has ended, even if he loses this point and loses the set 6-1. That is just wide. So Cannon Kingsley takes the first set 6-1. Let's go quickly to court 4, as it looks like Alex Bernard could have a set point as well. Bernard takes it 6-1 over Lars Johan. Lars Johan is coming off of injury. We'll talk a little bit more about it another time when we get back to this match on court 4, but that is 2 opening sets for Ohio State, who also took the doubles point. Let's go to court 5. It was a great start by William Gleason. He went up 2-love, but since then it's 4 unanswered games by Robbie Cash. Good serve there from Gleason. He ends that run of 4 straight games for Cash with a service hold for 4-3, and they will change ends on 5. Let's go to 6 now. We have yet to check in on court 6, actually, and it is Calvin Mueller for Nebraska, who's got the biggest serve on this Cornhuskers team, up against Jack Anthrop for Ohio State. Anthrop, the redshirt freshman. Seven and 1 this year in dual play. He started to play better and better as of late. Anthrop finding himself into the lineup more and more often as a result after redshirting last year. Didn't quite do enough with that first drop volley. Mueller actually playing much lower in the lineup than he usually has. Well, not much lower. Misspoke there, I suppose. 3-2 at the number 5 spot. 1-0 at 6 where he's playing today. Overall record for Mueller this spring of 4-4. Physical point. Anthrop doing great road work in the beginning to stay in the point defensively. And Mueller with a tired-looking forehand at the end. So Anthrop levels at 3. Found himself down a break against Calvin Mueller, the sophomore from Germany. So that's big. James Trotter took the first set, 6-2 against Leo Linkett on 2. So for Ohio State, top 2 singles courts have wrapped up the opening set, and fourth singles with Alex Bernard as well, 6-1. Robbie Cash is up 5-3 on William Gleason. So this is the match that has lagged behind the most. We also have Shunya Maruyama at third singles for Nebraska, who's down a break 4-3 against J.J. Tracy. Maruyama has been somewhat competitive in that opening set. Maruyama has been terrific this year for the Cornhuskers. Let's go back to court 5 now. See if Robbie Cash can close out William Gleason in the opening set. Talk about the improvement that William Gleason has been able to achieve for Nebraska here in his last year of eligibility as a grad student. Well, that's been the common theme for this Cornhuskers team. And Sean Mamie said that he knew coming into this season that players had improved over the summer, that they got the training in, the matches in, and the wins that really proved that this was going to be a better Cornhuskers team than we have seen. And this is the best team that Sean Mamie has had since arriving in Lincoln in 2018. They have a chance to make that NCAA tournament. They just need a big win or two down the stretch. Good aggression from Gleason on that occasion, forcing Cash to go for a difficult forehand down the line pass. Ooh, that is a rare volley miss from Cash. I was getting ready to praise him for the move, as he saw that Gleason was going to slice the ball and broke for the net as soon as he recognized that. The play ended up working, just didn't have the finish. Gleason holds. He continues to hang tough in this match. They will change ends at 5-4, and Cash will serve for the opening set on the other side. Let's go to third singles now. Court 3. Another court where the first set hangs in the balance, but Ohio State is on top with J.J. Tracy. Oh, nice reaction there from Maruyama. Mentioned Shunya Maruyama, the senior from Japan who has been Mr. Consistent for the Cornhuskers. He is undefeated at third singles here. And he puts that undefeated record on the line against J.J. Tracy, which is just about as tough a third singles player as you could draw in the country. Good defense out of the backhand side from Tracy. Wow. What a phenomenal point once again from the Buckeye, turning defense into offense with ease. Maruyama under the gun here. Couple of set points coming up for Tracy. You could see how low his backhand can stay, especially when he hits it on the flat delivery. You can see on that last backhand, not a lot of topspin, not a lot of net clearance. And it got really low on Maruyama. Oh, yes. Tracy comes up with the pass. More high-quality tennis on court 3, and it is the Buckeyes again taking the opening set. Only a couple of first sets in progress. Let's go to court 5 to see if we can catch the end of it. Robbie Cash, William Gleason. Cash trying to serve it out. All right, 40-30. Set point for Robbie Cash. Serving on the far baseline. Wow. Well, how about Gleason, who got off to a 2-love lead, got the first break of this opening set, has been going toe-to-toe with a Robert Cash who's 14-1 on the season. And now he's got a chance to level this first set. Deciding point here at 5-4. Set point, break point. Oh, I think we might have gotten an overrule. Wow. That is such a tough way for Gleason to drop this set. He called the first serve out, and it is overruled by the chair umpire, which awards the point to Robert Cash, who takes the first set 6-4. Kind of a shame for such a terrific opening set to be decided like that. But sometimes that's just how it goes. Let's go to court 4. It's a match that I don't think we've spent quite enough time on. The freshman for the Buckeyes, Alex Bernard, who everybody is always so intrigued to watch in his freshman season, coming in as the number 3 recruit in the country per tennisrecruiting.net. One of the big storylines coming in was just where would he slot in on this team? Well, he's been all over the lineup for head coach Ty Tucker. He's played the 2 spot through the 5 spot. And tonight he is at singles 4. Took the opening set 6-1 against Lars Johann. Lars Johann, the sophomore from Germany, he's in a tough spot here, as he's coming off of injury, and this is his first match back. Lars Johann hasn't played since February 19th, when he was playing against Wichita State, ended up hurting his abdominal, had to serve underhand for that match, and of course lost it. Always tough with the ab injuries on tennis players. It's a common one. I believe it's really the torn ACL of tennis. Luckily, we don't see a lot of torn ACLs in tennis, but we do see a lot of ab strains and sometimes even ab tears. Oh boy, that was almost a circus passing shot. Very close by Johann. So it's tough for Johann coming off injury and then having to play right away Alex Bernard in Columbus. But it's been a very competitive second set in these early stages. Terrific. That is a fantastic point by Bernard, who's an exceptional counterpuncher. He's so comfortable on the run and under pressure. He can come up with brilliance like he just did on that last point And he creates himself a 15-30 opening. There's only one court where the opening set has not come to a conclusion yet, and that is court 6 with Jack Anthrop. He's up 5-4. They're on serve against Calvin Mueller. That was a bit of a gift. Somewhat of a donation by Bernard. That's rare. He's a very consistent player. I think as he continues to develop at Ohio State, it's going to be the aggressive side of the game that will have to come along a little bit further for him. Well, not the best return game you'll ever see Bernard play. It's a hold of serve for Johan, 3-2 in the second set. Let's go to 6. Jack Anthrop and Calvin Mueller still duking it out in the first set. Anthrop 2 points away. No, it's actually set point, 15-40. 3 set points for Anthrop. Oh, he can't believe it. He looks at the sky, or in this case, I should say the roof, after missing a neutral slice backhand, but he's still got a couple of chances. Wide. Oh, what defense from Jack Anthrop. It looked like a perfect 1-2 serve plus forehand from Mueller, but Anthrop somehow able to defend it, and Mueller misses that last forehand. So with that, it is 6 opening sets to the Ohio State Buckeyes after taking the doubles point. They look well on their way. Let's go all the way across the Ty Tucker Tennis Center to court 1. We could kind of tell in this top singles match by the way the end of the first set looked that the second set might be a little bit more competitive because the man from Finland, Rani Hidoranta, just started to look a little bit better. He even created a break point against the Kingsley serve, which is hard to do. Oh, superb. Boy, we got to look at why Cannon Kingsley has been so unbelievably successful in his career when you're able to serve like he does, play the power game that he does, and at the same time, you can navigate a baseline rally like that. Such a enticing combination. One break point saved for Hidorana. That's gorgeous from Kingsley. I mean, he goes corner to corner. The precision, such a high level with that backhand down the line and then the inside-out forehand approach. And Kingsley goes up a break in this second set. Let's go to court 2 now. James Trotter might be the first singles match to finish if this continues to trend the direction that it has. And it's impressive because from what I've seen, Leo Linquet, the freshman from Argentina on the Nebraska side of things, has played a high level of tennis. Oh, yeah. Well, that's been one area that I've certainly identified that Linquet will need to improve to win these kinds of matches in the future is that second serve. Trotter has had a pretty easy time attacking it. And that's one thing, of course, growing up on the clay as Linquet has in Argentina, the serve is approached differently. And I think that's starting to change, but obviously in South America, the serve is more of a point starter than sometimes it can be, and sometimes it should be on an indoor hard court like this where you want to use it as a weapon. And, feeling the pressure from Trotter, he double faults there, and now Trotter is going to serve for this match. James Trotter, the redshirt senior from Japan, all Big Ten first team a year ago, all Big Ten second team the 2 years prior. He's made a big improvement from last year when he went 21-8 overall in singles. He is 17-0 this year. Just absolutely rolling in this second set. 40 love. Match points for James Trotter. And in emphatic fashion, Trotter improves to 18-0 on the season, and he is the first singles victory for Ohio State. What a performance from James Trotter. And for Leo Linkett, now 4-7 on the season, but he's only a freshman, and the future is bright for that young man. All right, lots of options here in terms of where we go next. Let's go back to court 4 for Alex Bernard and Lars Johan. Catch this deciding point. Big one here in the second set. Great return. And Alex Bernard has the break of serve. What a reaction. He put it right at the feet of Johan. So Bernard goes up 4-3. We can go to court 1 now. Gone back to the white shirt here for Nebraska, but it is Ronnie Hidoranta, the sophomore from Finland, serving on the near baseline for Nebraska. Hidoranta has won a lot of points in this match that look like that, where Cannon Kingsley is in a winning position, but Hidoranta does a good job making extra balls. And you can draw errors out of Cannon Kingsley because of how aggressive he is. It's a quality hold for Ronnie Hidoranta. He's seeking his first win at the number 1 spot in Big Ten play as the sophomore. Went 6-6 at the top single spot for Nebraska this season, but 0-2 in the Big Ten. I think he might be able to draw confidence from this second set, the way it's trending. He's playing well, but Kingsley up a break at 4-3. Let's go back to court 5. Might have a deciding point here between Gleason and Cash. This has been a match that, whatever the scoreline says, if you watch the games here, they've been very competitive. In fact, back on serve in the second set, it is 2-1, and Gleason broke the serve of Robbie Cash. Cash was up 2-love. Let's go to court 6. Calvin Mueller and Jack Anthrop doing battle here on court 6. Jack Anthrop has been really challenged in this match. And if you weren't with us, the end of this first set ended in dramatic fashion. It was 5-4, a deciding point with Anthrop serving. I'm actually getting it confused with court 5. So I'm going to stop myself from telling that story. On both 5 and 6, it's Ohio State taking the first set by identical score lines of 6-4. So that's why I got those two mixed up. But here's a big spot for Mueller to actually take control of this second set. Now, unfortunately for Mueller, if he were to win this second set, this match probably doesn't finish. Ooh. He'd want that one back. Mueller loves his slice backhand. In fact, on Instagram, his name is I Love My Backhand. That is his Instagram handle. And that's why he loves it. Thread the needle on the slice down the line. It looked like Anthrop let it go, and it found the corner. So it is a double break lead here for Calvin Mueller at the 6th singles spot. Jack Anthrop is 7-1 on the year. This is terrific stuff for Mueller, who goes up 3-love at the sit-down. Let's go to court 3. Only one match has finished here in the singles. It's James Trotter, who jumped all over Leo Linkett for a 6-2, 6-1 victory. Buckeyes took the doubles point. What a terrific job that was by Tracy of attacking the short ball. He's got great recognition of when he has a chance to step into the forecourt like he did there. Maruyama, I've been impressed with his forehand, and he works very hard with his feet to find his forehand, but sometimes that can get him out of position. Here's a deciding point. Tracy trying to get this back on serve. And he does. Tracy dips the passing shot low. Maruyama sails the volley, and it's 2 games apiece here in the second. Let's go to court 1. as Cannon Kingsley is one game away. It's been a good effort in this second set from Ronnie Hidoranta. Kingsley playing the top single spot for the Buckeyes. Justin Boulay sitting out. Boulay has played first singles more often than not for Ohio State, and he's 4-2. In fact, it's interesting that the Buckeyes have been most dominant on their top two singles courts, because it's not exactly how it's gone this year. Now, they have been dominant up and down the lineup, don't get me wrong. But for the season, it's actually this top singles spot that comparatively has been vulnerable. It's 7-4, and that's not Boulay's fault. Boulay has taken 2 losses. Kingsley has taken 1, and Tracy has taken another. So they are 7-4 in the top single spot overall. The rest of the lineup has been a bit more dominant. Hidoranta with the hold. And after this changeover, we'll get you back to court 1 as Cannon Kingsley looks to serve that thing out. A lot of changeovers at the moment. Let's try our hand with court 4. Let's see if they're coming out of the changeover, because this has been a tight second set. Alex Bernard and Lars Johan. Johan has worked his way into this match. 6-1 first set for Bernard, but Johan leads 5-4. They're on serve in this second. It's Bernard, the lefty, serving on the far baseline. He's got a 30-love lead in this service game. Yeah, that's where Bernard is a little bit behind some of his teammates in his ability to approach the net, finish off an overhead, but that'll come with the college experience, all of the emphasis on doubles. Bernard is a little bit more comfortable trading ground strokes from behind the baseline at this stage. Oh, Johan. Johan was a little bit hesitant to take that high backhand volley because he thought it might have been going out. And just that little sliver of doubt in his mind ended up doing him in. That was for a break point. Oh, well done from Johan. Can't play it any better than that. And it's a set point for the Cornhusker. We might have to go 2 box here on court 1. Cannon Kingsley is 2 points away. 30 all trying to serve this out. It's our first 2-box of the day. Deciding point here on your left, court 4. And that forehand sails on Bernard, and the second set is taken by Lars Johan, who hasn't played since February 19th. He comes into Columbus and takes a set off of Alex Bernard, the freshman. Let's change the left side of the 2-box to court 5. Robert Cash has gotten better as this match has gone on. Very tight opening set. He's up 5-1 in the second against William Gleason, the grad student from Lincoln, Nebraska. Kingsley with a big combination. And that's the victory for the Buckeyes. At first singles, it is Cannon Kingsley 6-1, 6-4 over Ronnie Hiteranta. And the Buckeyes are now closing in on this dual match. Ohio State goes up 3-0, and Robbie Cash is close. This has happened very quickly for Nebraska. Cash now a couple points away. Let's go full on court 5. Robbie Cash just has too much time there to load up his forehand. You have to find a way to rush him, or he will get his body weight moving forward into the ball, and that's where his power can really come into play. A couple of match points now for the local kid, Robbie Cash, who's senior. Having a terrific season in both singles and doubles. Textbook serve and volley from Gleason. That's another great point from the Cornhusker. All right, so we'll have a deciding point. Really good job fighting back in this game with a couple of great points from Gleason. It is a third match point and a dual clinching point for Robbie Cash. And Cash is money. He clinches it for the Buckeyes. And they win 4-0, the sweep against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Victories for Robert Cash, the clincher. Cannon Kingsley at 1 and James Trotter at 2. Those are your singles results. Nebraska with positive play out of Lars Johan, who did take the second set against the freshman Alexander Bernard, and also Calvin Mueller on court 6 was up 5-1 in the second set. So he was on his way to taking the second set against Jack Anthrop. So the Ohio State Buckeyes, with their 20th win of the season, they are well on their way to another brilliant regular season. We'll see if they can win the Big Ten regular season title once again. They have won 16 straight. They are undefeated thus far, now 3-0 in the Big Ten. They were undefeated at home last year. They have remained that way this year. We do have play, looks like, continuing on a couple of courts. Let's go over to court 6. Some disagreement over that call. Mueller thought he had the backhand down the line winner. Called out. No overrule. Difficult for the chair umpire to see that far sideline. It's another good, patient point by Mueller. And a set point here. It would be the second set that Nebraska is able to take off of Ohio State in this dual match. Well, a good fight by Anthrop. He's competing hard out there despite this second set looking somewhat unlikely for him. Let's go to court 3, and this will be our last segment likely of the broadcast because JJ Tracy is just trying to close out Shunya Mariyama so we can pay this off. It'll be interesting to see. It looks like they are going to try to complete every match today. Ohio State has sealed the victory 4-0, but I suppose with Nebraska, a couple of these matches have gone their way in the second set, and it does make sense that Sean Mamie wants to give his team a chance to compete for these matches. Tracy, from what we've seen, has looked absolutely terrific. That might have been a double fault. That serve looked quite long, and it was. A couple match points here for J.J. Tracy. Nasty angle, and J.J. Tracy pulls off a very clean performance on court 4 to put Ohio State ahead 4-0. Tracy improves to 11-2 on the season. He is now 7-1 at third singles. It's been a great back-to-back years for J.J. Tracy, and it has not been easy to beat Shunya Maruyama, the senior from Japan on the Nebraska side. He was 4-0 at third singles. That is his first loss of the season in this spot. So just about ready to wrap things up here. I do think that there were a lot of positives for Nebraska. You know, you come in to Columbus and you know it's going to be exceedingly difficult. You need to be pretty much an all-time great team if you want to beat Ohio State at their place. It's only happened a couple of times since the mid-2000s. But for Nebraska, first of all, they got healthy, and I think that is a big positive. You have Lars Johan coming back, slotting into the fourth spot, and not only was he proved that he was ready to play, he also proved that he was ready to play well coming off of that ab injury. So I thought that that was a big positive for Nebraska. That also was able to just kind of shift the lineup a little bit. And, you know, you move down Gleason, you move down Mueller, and both Gleason and Mueller were very, very competitive at the bottom of this lineup here for Nebraska. Gleason nearly took the first set. It was very close there. Mueller was up 5-2 in the second set, and Lars Johan at fourth singles, he did win the second set. He took it 6-4. So that is that for Nebraska. And, you know, for the Cornhuskers, again, sitting at 45th in the rankings, they need a couple of wins here down the stretch to secure their tournament hopes and to try to get an at-large bid coming out of the Big Ten. A couple of road matches coming up for them at Penn State, at Northwestern, at Illinois, and at Wisconsin. They need to win probably 2 or 3 of those, and they'll be in good shape for the NCAA tournament. Of course, the Big Ten tournament will be another opportunity for them to nab some big wins on a neutral site. But Ohio State wins it. They sweep it for love. It looks like they're continuing, so we'll get some more results trickling in, but that'll do it for our coverage as the Buckeyes improve to 20-2, 3-0 in the Big Ten. We thank you for joining us on our Cracked Racquets coverage. I am Gil Gross, and we will see you next time.